And I realized the advantage of going to Scotland was because in Irish, you don't have the word no. You can't say no. But in Scots, you can say no. And also you can say fuck, or you can say fuck, or you can say fuck off, or you can say, ah, fuck off, or get the fuck, or you go to fuck, you know. So there are so many ways of saying fuck. And I think we've cornered the market on it, really. I think the reasons are very simple. I think if you look at the history of these kind of family sagas, they've always been very successful. People love stories about the family. And they particularly like stories about dysfunctional families. And I think that everybody goes there but for the grace of God, when actually they're probably as bad as the people on the screen. So I think that's the reason for the success, is that, you know, if you think of Dynasty, you think of Dallas, you think of all those shows that have gone on before, and Succession is much smarter because it has a political viewpoint, you know, not in a kind of knocking you on your head way, but in a way that it's subtly political. And it's about entitlement, first of all, and about the problems of people who have more wealth than they have sense, you know, and I think there's a lot of that in the show. And it's also a show where audiences love to hate people. They just love the fact that they can go, oh, I love this show because I really hate that guy, but I love watching him because I really hate him. You know, so, and human beings are, you know, sweet but stupid in that way. Well, I always knew it was going to be a hit. I knew it straight away. When the pitch was made to me, I knew, and especially at my age, I knew that this was the perfect role. I mean, there was no question about it. Having played a lot of patriarchs, you know, I mean, this was the patriarch to end all patriarchs. So in a sense, and it's also funny. I love the fact that it's funny, and Logan is very funny. He's very funny, he's very cruel, but he does love his children, you know, and that's his Achilles heel. If he didn't love his children, he'd be a much more contented person than he is. And that was the bit, and it's so funny. I saw a thing just recently. It was my sister passed away a few weeks ago, and she was like my mom. So we went to her funeral because you know, a lot of people seem to be dying at the moment, so there was no room in the funeral home. So we finally got her buried just on Tuesday. And somebody sent me a video of something that I did 1991, which was nearly 30 years, it was just 30 years ago. And it was me coming home to my home and seeing my sister and my family. And I was so circumspect because I was nervous about coming home, but I was also, in a sense, very less positive than I am now. So it's so fascinating to see how we progress as human beings, where we go to, what phases we go to at different times in our life. And I was a bit shaken by it because I didn't realize that I was so, you know. But at one point I do talk about family, and what I just say is, you know, you cannot get your society right if you don't get your family right. And I thought, wow, that's a very good notion, Brian, but have you always practiced that? Not so sure. Well, I'm Scots, you know, and we can swear. We can say the word fuck better than anybody. We tie with the word cunt and the Irish, because the Irish are really good at the word cunt, because you can be a good cunt, a bad cunt. Oh, he was a good cunt. Oh no, he was a bad cunt. You've got lots of variety, but fuck is very emphatic. It's also why, you know, my stock originally, my family originally from Ireland many years ago, and I kept thinking, what was the advantage of going to Scotland? And I realized the advantage of going to Scotland was because in Irish, you don't have the word no. You can't say no. But in Scots, you can say no. And also you can say fuck, or you can say fuck, or you can say fuck off, or you can say, ah, fuck off, or get the fuck, or you go to fuck, you know. So there are so many ways of saying fuck. And I think we've cornered the market on it, really. Oh, it's like saying which child would I like more than the other, you know, which fuck off would I like more than the other. No, I think, I mean, I don't dwell on the fuck offs because they just come and they go. No, I haven't got a particularly favourite fuck off. They're all, you know, they're all much of a muchness. Fuck off. 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 Fuck off.
Par rapport à toutes les choses qu'il a faites au cinéma, au théâtre et dans Succession, de savoir qu'est-ce qu'il pense de ces trois médias-là, en fait, du cinéma, du théâtre et de son travail pour une série.
Well, they're not different, you know, because you're dealing with the truth, no matter what. And the trouble is in the theatre that we can get so overblown and, you know, theatrical and all of that. And I think that, you know, as I get older, I learn more to avoid that aspect of acting and try to be simpler without losing volume or sound. But I think they're more related than one gets. And I think television has become really the media of the people, actually, more than anything else. The cinema was, but the cinema's lost its way, I think. It's not as egalitarian as it was. It's much more particularly about, it doesn't deal, I mean, for example, when I did X-Men, all the years ago, I did X-Men 2, it was an allegory, it was allegorical. And when those, you know, when the Marvel stuff and the DC stuff is allegorical, then it works. But when it's of its own volition, then it becomes just silly, you know. So I kind of veer away from that. I love doing X-Men because it was allegorical. It was a story about people who were outside the system, you know. So that was a really interesting show to work on. And it feeds your work, you know. But I do think there is this very strong, you know, they're not separated, theatre, cinema. The truth is the truth in any language, you know, and any form of expression. So it's harder now to be truthful in the stage, but it's a lot easier to be truthful in the cinema. But sometimes in the cinema, it's also easy to be more boring. Oh, it's very hard. I'd have to keep roles which meant something to me. I suppose I would, there's a film I did many, many years ago when I was very young called In Celebration, which was a film I made in the 70s. Not very many people have seen it. And I play a very tortured young man who's going through a breakdown. And it's about again, it's about a family. And it's about a family's father's, their 40th wedding, and they're a working class family, but the boys have been educated out of their class, and they come home and they have these political discussions. And I played the youngest, and I did it with Alan Bates and a wonderful actor called Jimmy Ball, and we all played the brothers. So that's one film I would keep. I suppose the other film I would keep would be, if we're talking about films, there's a lot of television I'd keep, but films, I would say would be Manhunter, because that was my introduction to America as a cinema actor, and it was a great experience working with Michael Mann, and it was a very interesting character, different from how he's played later on, but I think I played him in an entirely different way, and I'm very happy with what I did. Not that I have anything against Tony Hopkins, because he was wonderful, he is wonderful. In fact, the only way I could come and see Silence of the Lambs was when coming to Paris. I couldn't go to the cinema in the UK. I came to Paris, and I was visiting Paris, and I saw Silence of the Lambs was on. I thought, well, nobody knows me, so I can go in and see that. So I saw that, and you know, I was very impressed by him. But it's just a different view. It's a different vision of the role. And the third film is a hard one. I think I'll have to think about a third film. Oh gosh, I've done so many, it's so difficult. I'm trying to think, what would be a good third film? I think, well, the third thing I did, it wasn't a film, it was a TV series. And again, it was playing a highly contentious subject. I played Goering in Nuremberg, which was about the Nuremberg process. And it was fascinating to play somebody like Goering, who was such a frontman for Hitler. But it was also interesting to inhabit this man's belief system, and you know, and also understanding why Nazi Germany became Nazi Germany, and why you know, why the Treaty of Versailles made it difficult, or no, it didn't make it difficult, but it completely paved the way for an Adolf Hitler, because it was so punitive. So that, to me, was a very important piece of work, because he strode these two worlds, Goering. He was very brilliant. They kept him on, they took him off his meds, which was the worst thing they did, because he became very clear. And he gave a lot of very good arguments. Not that I believe in National Socialism, don't get me wrong, I don't think the whole idea is repellent to me. But he gave these amazing arguments about the state of Germany and why Germany had to become, and how Hitler seemed like the visionary instead of the madman that we all knew that he eventually became, you know. So that was interesting, and to see that man's allegiance to the Führer and what that meant to him, and that. So that was, yeah, that's probably the thing. I mean, there's probably another one. There's probably more, you know, altogether. But that would be three roles, I would say. That was, yeah, that shows a great cross section of what I do.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome.